It's a perfect fall day in Chicago, and it's time for a good old-fashioned NFC North rivalry game. The Minnesota Vikings come to Chicago off a bye week, but they also come in off a very controversial off-the-field incident. How will it affect them? We'll find out. The Chicago Bears have beaten the Vikings 4 straight times at home. They want to keep that going to get their season back on track. It's the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings on the NFL on Fox. Back at beautiful Soldier Field, that is sold out as usual. Dante Culpepper, who has thrown 10 interceptions this season, most in the NFL. Offensive line has Melvin Fowler starting at center and Adam Goldberg, his first start at right guard. Mewelde Moore is starting his 3rd straight game at running back, and with Nate Burleson still out, Marcus Robinson, the former Bear, and Travis Taylor are the wideouts. We'll see a lot of Corin Robinson and Troy Williamson as well. The beleaguered head coach, Mike Tice, he is trying to get his team going on the field and keep them together off the field. Robbie Gould, his 2nd game as a Bear, signed 9 days ago, kicks off. Here's Corin Robinson from the 5, and here we go. Good block for Robinson, gets across the 20 up to the 22-yard line. Israel Adonijah, a defensive lineman for the Bears, took him down. Check out the Bears defense, which is 3rd in the NFL. Up front, very tight. Good pass rushers, Agunlia and Brown. Ian Scott is playing very well. The great Brian Urlacher is healthy. Lance Briggs leads the team in tackles. The takeaway man is Mike Brown at strong safety. Nathan Vasher has 3 interceptions as well. And a quick handoff to Mewelde Moore. Fights off a couple of tackles. Good run, hard run by Mewelde Moore. Gets him up to the 28-yard line. Brian Urlacher chased him out of bounds.
Well, one of the things, Sam, we've had to keep a look at today for the Minnesota Vikings will be in their offensive line. Because early on when they first started out the season, Marcus Johnson and Corey Withrow were thrown in there. And Matt Burke was injured, and of course they lose Randy Dixon, and it didn't work out. And to me, as I watch them, that's really been the crux of their offensive problems. They can't get started because everything up front isn't working.
Culpepper takes it straight back, being pressured, throws to Jermaine Wiggins. He's got a first down up at the 26-yard line. Wiggins, the H-back, has played some tight end, but was a key receiver for the Vikings. They want to get back to him a lot more this season.
Well, if this is any indication on how they're going to do, check out Adam Goldberg, 73. Watch him right here. Look at this. Look at this shot. Bang. I mean, he just drops a pass rusher who's lined up right over top of the center, Melvin Fowler.
On first down, with 2 tight ends, Culpepper play fake, being chased, gets rid of it, completes it to Wiggins. And he's pushed out of bounds at the 43-yard line by Adewale Agunlia, who dropped back in coverage, the defensive end. 7-yard pickup for Jermaine Wiggins.
85 Jermaine Wiggins. He's really been an asset to this team. Last year, this year, he's been almost a go-to guy. Now, I don't like to use the term replace Moss because I don't think there's any such thing. But if there's a #1 receiver for the Minnesota Vikings right now, it's Jermaine Wiggins. And I think they need to use him more, not so much in that H-back role or as a tight end, but maybe out in the slot some.
He's out on the wing here. Short drop by Culpepper. Throws quickly to Marcus Robinson, who's shoved out of bounds. Just short of midfield by Charles Tillman, but he's got a first down. So back-to-back first downs for the Vikings. Quick release passes, Bill.
Well, you know what they're doing is they're attacking. You know, they ran a play, run play to the outside, pick up a few yards, but then it's dink, dunk, and they're hitting singles. And I think this team needed to learn how to start hitting singles and doubles instead of just all home runs. They have a nice little attacking drive going right here.
Speed man Troy Williamson, the rookie wide receiver, is out to the right side for the Vikings on first down. Mewelde Moore looks for an opening. Good run. And he slips one man. Fighting off Charles Tillman. Beautiful run by Mewelde Moore down to the Bears' 27-yard line. 25-yard pickup for Mewelde Moore.
Well, you know, one of the things is I want you to count here with me. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 in the box. Now, they're able to run this with 7 in the box, and that's a heck of a cut by Mewelde Moore right as he gets to the line of scrimmage. But they've been facing a ton of 8-man boxes. That's where they bring the safety up to take the run away.
Alfonso Boone in a defensive tackle for the Bears, replacing Ian Scott. On first down, it's Moore again. Not much there. Fights his way for a hard couple of yards across the 25-yard line. The Bears have been outstanding against the run all season long. Moore has ripped off a beauty before and got a couple of yards on that last play.
Well, you're right. And as the Bears get down actually inside the red zone, they become even tougher. But right now, the Bears defensively, as Lovie Smith he's not liking what he's seeing. He wants him. They needed to come out and stomp on Minnesota quick. They can't let him get up there early on him.
Good drive by the Vikings. Here comes Mewelde Moore, led by Melvin Fowler. Across the 20, down to the 19-yard line. Brian Urlacher makes the stop, a couple of yards short of the first down.
Sam, you know, we talked about Randy Moss and those 8-man front things and this and that. Well, in the games Randy Moss played with Minnesota, while he was in the game, this is what they averaged right here per rush while he was in the game. In games he wasn't in, including this year or injury, that's what they've averaged. And I think that's the difference.
8th play of the drive for the Vikings. Mo Williams for a yard.
Extra effort may have got him there, though.
I think he's a little short, about a half yard short of the first down. Mo Williams had come in replacing Mewelde Moore. And now the field goal kicking unit comes on for the Vikings.
Ian Scott was in the backfield very, very quickly. I mean, he got some big-time push. You're going to see number 95. This is going to be him right here. And he's lined up over the center, and you see him split that. He splits between the center, who was Fowler, and Chris Lewinsky, and turned his shoulder and made a huge play.
Paul Ettinger, the former Bear, his first year with the Vikings, 7 for 8 this season, and the pass is thrown away. They mishandled the snap. Brad Johnson, the holder, throwing poorly, and the Vikings come up empty. Kyle Orton, the rookie out of Purdue, is the quarterback. They come out with 2 tight ends. Orton short drop, and he goes up top. He's going for Muhsin Muhammad. He overthrows him. Muhammad had a step on Antoine Winfield. Check the offensive lineup for the Bears. Their offensive line is restructured. John St. Clair and Roberto Garza on the left side, replacing the injured John Tate and Reuben Brown. The key wide receiver is Muhsin Muhammad. The rookie Mark Bradley getting the start. He's got a lot of speed. And Thomas Jones, who was injured late in the Cleveland game last week, is starting. He's had 3 straight 100-yard rushing games. Gabe Reed, number 82, is split off the line. One of the tight ends, Desmond Clark the other. Orton under pressure, completes it to Gabe Reed. Short pickup to the 22-yard line.
New wrinkle from the Minnesota Vikings. But check this out, Sam. They've come out with 1, 2, 3 down linemen and 1, 2, 3, 4 linebackers. That's a 34 look. That's a 3-4 alignment. This team is always lined up with 4 down linemen and 3 linebackers. But due to the injuries, I believe, it must be the reason, the injuries they've had at the defensive end position,
right.
They have more linebackers, so let's get what we have on the field.
Out of the shotgun on 3rd and long with 3 wide receivers. Orton throws, it completes it to Muhsin Muhammad. He's got a first down up at the 32-yard line.
And you have a couple wrinkles, because here's a team, the Chicago Bears, who are primarily based upon their run. And we talked about it a little bit in the top of the open, is they need to get their passing game going. Well, they've come out throwing the football. They've come out, and there's been 3 passes or 3 pass attempts down the field. That time for a first down. So we got the Bears throwing, and we have the Minnesota Vikings defense running a new defense.
Now they run the ball with Thomas Jones. He gets a yard before he's pushed back by Corey Chavis. Let's go to the sideline where Jay Glazer is standing by. Jay.
Hey, guys, I talked to Ted Cottrell, the defensive coordinator of the Vikings, before the game, and he told me they were going to go for the 3-4 look because, as Bill said, they're without ends, but also to take advantage of the fact that the Bears are starting 2 new offensive linemen today, also have a young, inexperienced quarterback. They're hoping to confuse them with some new looks. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Jay. Kenechi Udeza, the starting defensive end, is on IR. He's done for the season. Spencer Johnson is out injured today. 2nd and 9. The play fake by Orton. Getting pressure on the blitz from Sharper. The pass blocked. Darren Sharper blitzing from his safety position, putting pressure on Kyle Orton. And the Vikings coming in with the arms up, knocking down the pass.
Yeah, I believe that was big Darian Scott, number 98, who came in. They closed that rush lane, and they got his hands up right in the face of Kyle Orton. Here's Darian Scott. He's pushing and pushing and pushing, and at the last second here, he's going to...
Oh, Kevin Williams.
Kevin Williams,
yeah.
93. Came from the other side.
A lot of pressure. Bernard
Williams was in there, too.
That's right. Bernard Berrien in as the 3rd wide receiver on 3rd and 9. Orton pressured again, and they got him. The Minnesota Vikings, who have not been good at getting to the quarterback this season, get to Kyle Orton for the first sack of the game. Lance Johnstone, who was out injured last week, back in the lineup. The Vikings from the 29-yard line.
And here's a blitz.
Culpepper gets rid of it and completes to Marcus Robinson up at the 48-yard line. Marcus Robinson played 5 years in Chicago, had a monster year his second season. 1,400 yards receiving, 84 catches.
But the blitz came, and then watch the one-on-one outside. Now Vasher's bailing. That's the bail technique. You bail out and you keep him inside you. That gives you time for the blitz to get there. But Dante Culpepper stood right in there and faced the blitz and delivered that pass.
On 1st down, the draw play to Mewelde Moore gets nothing as Lance Briggs, the leading tackler on the Bears, gets in there and takes him down. You know, we rave about Urlacher, and deservedly so, but this Briggs is quite a player.
Oh, you're not kidding. I don't know if he can sing, but he can sure rock your world. Let me tell you, that guy can. He is all over the place, Sam. Every time I put on some film and watch the Bears defense, 55 just keeps popping up. And 55 is the Brooks in this Tampa Bay defense. That's what he is.
Culpepper's 4 for 4 passing on 2nd and 10. Quick outside. Troy Williamson makes the grab in Bears territory at the 47. Short pickup. But Dante Culpepper started off the game effectively, Bill. 5 for 5.
And if you notice the passes, everything is underneath. Everything is the check down. Because when you play a Tampa 2 defense and you have 2 deep safeties, it really takes away everything downfield. So what you have to continually look for is the underneath. That philosophy is based on most offenses will implode taking those short little passes.
3rd and 5, 3 wide receivers for the Vikings, 5 defensive backs for the Bears. Culpepper gets time, releases short to Mewelde Moore. Moore weaving his way, but can't get to the 1st down line. Tank Johnson, the big defensive tackle, was back there to bring him down at the 45-yard line, and the Vikings punting unit comes out. And the Bears go from the 15-yard line.
How can a snap be illegal?
I don't know. We'll have to ask the referee about that. Randall Smith, number 57, in at linebacker for the Vikings, replacing E.J. Henderson. Thomas Jones up to the 18-yard line. Thomas Jones did not practice Wednesday or Thursday. We were at practice on Friday. I would say took part in about half the snaps. Was limping a little bit, but he has come back. He was determined to play. He felt this is a very big game for the Bears and wanted to be in the lineup this afternoon. The rookie C.J. Mosley in on the defensive line for the Vikings. Here's Jones again looking for an opening. Squirms his way through, gets up to the 27-yard line. It's been a great start to the season for Thomas Jones. The former Arizona Cardinal, his 2nd year with the Bears, rushed for over 900 yards last year. He has run for over 100 yards in 3 consecutive games. Last week, 137 yards rushing. He has 4 rushing touchdowns. And despite the fact that the Bears drafted Cedric Benson, number 4 overall, Jones is the man that is the number 1 running back. On 3rd and short, the pass is broken up.
Flag.
Antoine Winfield going over the back of Bobby Wade, and it'll be a 1st down.
It always says C because, you know, with the mechanics of it, you're only accountable for so many linemen. So the referee, in this case, Bernie Kukar, he has the quarterback's protection and the offensive tackle.
On first down, it's Jones. Straight ahead, up to the 24-yard line. Pat Williams, the big defensive tackle, makes the stop.
You know, thus far, most of the runs have all gone to the right side. And the reason being, I would believe, is because John Tate and Reuben Brown aren't out there.
Well, you know what, Bill, just checking the numbers, they've run more than half their runs this season to the right side anyway. But you're right, missing John Tate and Reuben Brown is a big factor.
I don't know if anybody in the league is that good that you can give up tendencies to be, you know, go primarily to one side.
2nd and 17. Swing it out to Thomas Jones. Antoine Winfield is there. Got a piece of Jones, and Jones out of bounds at the 30-yard line.
And the Bears have been trying to get their passing game going a little bit. Get Kyle Orton. And then when you have a rookie quarterback, you know, there's certain things you can and can't do with him. They don't have everything in for him, but you have to base what you do around a strong running game, and then you build off of that with play-action passes. The one thing that Kyle was talking about that he needed to get done is trying to hit his guys in stride, giving them an opportunity to make yards after the catch.
Go with 2 tight ends on 3rd and 11. To get to the 41 for a first down. Orton throwing deep. And he overthrows Muhsin Muhammad. Double coverage by the Vikings. Vikings, part of their game plan, they want to take Muhsin Muhammad out of the game and make the quarterback beat them. Vikings start from the 34-yard line, their 3rd possession of the game. Michael Bennett in for the first time. Gets up to the 35, and that's all. The Bears swarm to the ball, led by Adewale Agunleye.
And that's one thing I think for Minnesota hasn't gone as well as they've liked, is the run game. And this is an offense in which the run is really formed off the pass, which how I was brought up to know football, that's the opposite of how it's supposed to be. Normally, you run the ball, and that sets up the pass. But they've always been able to do it opposite because of the great 3 wide receivers they have.
Weldon Moore is in at running back. Long count by Culpepper. In trouble. Rolls and throws. It's incomplete. Thrown beyond Travis Taylor. Let's find out what the Falcons and the Saints are doing. JB, how about it?
While Michael Vick is so exciting yet susceptible to injury, take a look at the escapability. That is Michael Vick, and is running dangerous indeed, but most quarterbacks would have gone down. He's running like a running back, hurt that knee right there, grabbed the knee, although he did walk off the field saying he was okay. That's the risk associated with being Michael Vick. Boy, Bill Moss would have liked an open shot at him, Sam.
You're right about that, JB. Boy, he's taking some shots on that knee.
Those guys there at the studio have been having open shots on me.
Here's 3rd and long. That last pass was the first incompletion of the game for Culpepper. In trouble, he runs. Trying for the first down line, he's got it. There's the old Dante Culpepper taking off, getting a first down up near midfield. And one of the Bears, Mike Brown, is slow getting up.
You know, that's the one thing I think that if you talk to any defense that faces this Minnesota Vikings offense, and you talk to the players and you talk to the defensive coordinators, the one thing that they continually say is, boy, oh boy, that quarterback. No matter what, he's still a threat. And that's part of the reason why. Because he can pull it down, and heck, he's bigger than the Chicago Bears' 2 defensive ends.
Right. Mike Brown comes to the sideline. He's replaced by Todd Johnson, number 35, on first down. The play fake. Culpepper wants to go up top. Goes into the middle of the field. Completes it to Marcus Robinson. Down to the Bears' 35-yard line. Culpepper now 7 for 8. That pickup 16 yards. Brian Urlacher made the tackle. And Marcus Robinson with 3 catches with Nate Burleson out, and he practiced some this week. Robinson has been a key wide receiver. Burleson should be back next week for Minnesota. Alfonso Boone and Tank Johnson in a defensive tackle for the Bears. Weldon Moore.
Nice cut.
And a good tackle on the play by Todd Johnson. The ball popped loose, but he was down. He was down.
Ball's down. Weldon Moore, and he's been in the lineup in front of Michael Bennett. because of those swivel hips, because of those moves he can make getting into the line of scrimmage. If you take a look at the cut he made and the cut earlier he made, that's the difference between Mewelde Moore, I believe, and Michael Bennett, is that he can be running full speed and get up into the line of scrimmage and see the linebacker coming and make a move while he's in stride that gets him extra yards.
Here's 2nd and 8 with Wiggins lined up as a fullback. Mewelde Moore, and he's hit again. And there's the good run defense of the Chicago Bears. Hunter Hillenmeyer leading the way.
Jerry Rome is sitting there on top of that wall. Humpty Dumpty's down the wall type of thing.
Here's 3rd and 9 for the Vikings. Culpepper
nice
throws,
pass.
and he's got Troy Williamson. The ball pops loose. No,
Incomplete.
it's incomplete. It's an incomplete pass. Williamson had it when he got to hit the ground. It popped loose. It's an incomplete pass.
You know, it was an incomplete pass, but the Vikings are moving the football. And they're picking up the blitz, and they're making the right throws, and they're scrambling for first downs. They're doing some things a lot better than I've seen them do. You know, I've seen this offense just look absolutely pitiful. And they made some changes to that line, and I think that's helped because they picked up the blitz to give Culpepper time.
They've had 116 yards offense to only 31 for the Chicago Bears. This is a 52-yard attempt.
Buster Homer.
Edinger 14 for 20 lifetime from 50 yards or more, and he missed this one.
That was tipped.
And it's way wide, low, and Edinger coming back to Chicago, where he played here for 4 years. Misses again. Best field position for the Bears from their 42, Thomas Jones. Across the 45 up to the 46, pick up a 4 on the play. By the way, Edinger, want to correct what I said, this is his 6th year in the league. He played 5 years with the Bears, and he is 0. They've tried 2 field goals and have failed on both tries. One a mishandled snap, the other a bad kick. Bradley and Berry and the wide receivers, a fumble, a loose ball. They dive for it, still loose, and it looks like the Vikings have it. They do. Corey Chavis finally found it and landed on top. First down at the Bears' 48-yard line. 3rd penalty for the Bears in the game. Culpepper being pressured, steps up and goes deep. Way downfield, he's got a man, the ball is juggled and intercepted. Intercepted by Charles Tillman. And now they're ruling incomplete. They're ruling incomplete. Tillman with the pick of the pass intended for Troy Williamson.
Well, it's very, very close. And what you have to govern here, or what they're going to try to look at, is possession. His arms are going to be extended. They're going to be on either side of the ball. His knee is down. Now, is that enough for possession? There's not a step forward with control. He comes down. His hands are on the outside of the ball, on both noses, and the ball touches the ground as his body goes down. Now, I think you could actually build a case for either side of it, but the question is going to be how the referee feels, whether or not that was possession enough for him to go down.
Guys, Charles Tillman will be a target today. Vikings know it, Bears know it. In fact, Tillman's position was in jeopardy this week. Lovie Smith, the head coach of the Bears, told me that Brian Urlacher and Mike Brown came to him and said, Coach, don't do it. Keep him in there for another week. We've got to have faith in him for one more week before you make a move. Lovie said, okay, guys, you got one more week with him. Back to you.
Thanks, Jay. 3 wide receivers in for the Vikings on 2nd and 10. Culpepper being blitzed, dropped it off to Mewelde Moore, turns it into a big gainer, down to the 30-yard line. Nice little dump off by Dante Culpepper, pickup of 18 on the play. He's now 8 for 11 in the game.
I would look at what Culpepper is facing. First of all, here's the blitz is going to come this side. It's going to come this way. Watch these guys all coming, all right? Now, Culpepper sitting there by himself in the face of that blitz to have the wherewithal to find Mewelde Moore. Boy, that's tough.
Here's Moore on a good run. Nice cutback, and he gets down to the 21-yard line. Time for an update. Let's go back to JB for that.
Nice cutback where you are. Take a look here, straight up the middle. Antoine Smith in for the injured Deuce McAllister. 24 yards of pay dirt, 7-3 Saints. Jake Delhomme had tossed a touchdown to Rod Gardner earlier. Here he makes a mistake, shortens it too much, Boss Bailey picks him off for Detroit, returns it 32 yards for the score, all tied at 7. Back to Sam.
Thank you, JB. And the Lions, very important game in the NFC North race, with the Lions at 2-2 in first place, and these two teams at 1-3, hoping to get back in it. Ian Scott making the tackle on the last play.
Oh, big tackle, too. Ian Scott is just a squatty type of, just a bulldog. He really is. And he likes to play on the other side of the line of scrimmage. And that's what this Bears defense is. That's what it does. That front four, they are coming off the ball and attacking on the other line of scrimmage.
Out of the shotgun at 3rd and 3. Culpepper throws short. Jermaine Wiggins looks like he's got the first down. He does, down at the 17-yard line. So the Vikings have moved the ball in this first half. They've been unable to cash in and put points on the board. Now, in the Bears red zone for the first time today, and as you said earlier, Bill, the Bears are just about the best there is in the league in the red zone defense.
They for whatever reason it is right now, this group has really been sensational thus far into the season. Inside the 20-yard line.
Wiggins wide to the left. Mewelde Moore carrying, and he ran right in the Bears. What a play. Hunter Hillenmeyer fighting off the block. Combines with Brian Urlacher and Mike Brown to stop Mewelde Moore.
Sam, did you mention they were pretty good inside the red zone there?
Yes.
No, you're not kidding. And you know, sometimes I really believe it's just a mentality, and it can become that. You know, there's just sometimes you get a group of guys together, and you know, when they get their backs pinned up against the wall, they're going to become like a raccoon. And I think that may be it. Yeah, you might put a blitz or two in, but this group is just aggressive all over them.
Culpepper being pressured, steps up and throws to Jermaine Wiggins. Turns and is brought down at the 15-yard line.
Look at the bodies. Look at the bodies of the Bears players around. You know, you talk about tightening up inside the red zone. I mean, there was nothing but dark blue jerseys over there. Yeah, they completed the pass, but he didn't get anything after that pass.
Couple of yards, and that's it.
11 jerseys by the ball.
Here is 3rd and 8 for the Vikings. Troy Williamson comes in. Jim Kleinsasser goes out. Tank Johnson comes in for the Bears on the defensive line. Vikings 2 for 5 on 3rd down conversions. Have 3 wide receivers in. Culpepper rush, throws, completes. Wiggins inside the 5, down to the 2. That's a great pass by Culpepper as he got rid of it in a hurry with pressure and players all over him.
And you know, a lot of times too, when you gamble inside that red zone, when you bring it inside the red zone, you're going to have a hot receiver, and there's a little pressure that's going to come inside here, and what's going to be left is the middle of the field, and the safety has to come down and stop it. Well, the safety didn't get down there on the tight end quick enough to stop that hot receiver.
Corey Withrow, a center, is in as an eligible man on the right side. Play fake by Culpepper, in trouble, running, heading for the sideline, and he's dragged down by Tommy Harris. A quick defensive tackle. Harris stayed with Culpepper all the way. And he brought him down for a loss back at the 5-yard line.
Culpepper scrambled to the only place that he could get out of that trouble. The problem was all his receivers are going to be over here. Look, they're all over here. There's all his receivers. Now, he had to scramble to get out, but look back here. There's no Vikings receivers back there. But that's the only place he could actually go.
Wiggins to the right side on 2nd and goal. Culpepper throws, completes to Marcus Robinson. Urlacher rides him down. There's a flag. I think the Bears were offside.
Yeah, they were. I think 55 Lance Briggs was.
2nd and goal from the 17. Culpepper drops it off to Wiggins. Hurdles one man. Brown gets hold of him and won't let go as he gets inside the 15 down at the 13-yard line. Wiggins' 6th catch of the game. 3rd and goal at the 13 of the Bears. The 13-yard line, the line of scrimmage. Everybody out. Culpepper throws. Wiggins at the 7. Falls forward to the 5. And the Bears defense, once again, tough in the red zone. They've given up only 1 touchdown this season in 10 possessions by the opposition in the red zone.
Sam, prior to last week's game, Kyle Orton said, I have not had 2 bad games in a row in my life. He's now having his 3rd bad game in a row. And if you're wondering what's happening with Rex Grossman, Grossman began throwing this past week. However, even when he comes back, team sources say this is Kyle Orton's job. I asked Lovie Smith about it yesterday. He said Kyle is our guy. When Rex comes back, he will be a backup regardless of how Kyle's playing at the time.
Grossman, thanks, Jay. Grossman on target to return late November. That pass to Muhsin Muhammad. Antoine Winfield brought him down. I will disagree with Jay, though. I didn't think Orton had a bad game last week against Cleveland. I thought he threw the ball okay. He just didn't throw the ball down the field.
Well, there was a couple things he could have done better, and I think he'll tell you that. I think the offensive coaches will tell you that. But I also think that Lovie Smith has to say that. You have a young quarterback out there. You know, he has enough things that are new and foreign to him without worrying about what's going to happen when Rex Grossman comes back.
Thomas Jones takes it up to the 27-yard line, brings up a 3rd and 3. Bears have just not gotten anything going, neither on the ground, which is a surprise because the Vikings came into this game last in the NFL in rushing defense. And they've done a good job thus far on Thomas Jones and the Bears.
Well, I think they've mixed it up too. You know, now they're back to a 4-man front, and then they'll jump back in and out of a 3-man.
Bears have 3 wide receivers in and split the tight end as well. Short drop by Orton. His pass is dropped. Intended for Muhsin Muhammad. He fired it in there, and Muhammad dropped it, and the Bears are 3 and out. Vikings come out, 3 wide receivers. Bears counter with 5 defensive backs. Handoff inside. Welding Moore picks up about a yard on the play. Lance Briggs there to make the tackle. Briggs in his 3rd year out of Arizona. One-time fullback in high school, turned linebacker, and he's turned into one of the best. Michael Bennett has come in at running back now for the Vikings, replacing Mewelde Moore. Draw play to Bennett. Takes it outside. Mike Brown's got a piece of him and takes him down at the 41-yard line.
You know, we were talking about the toughest on the inside, and then we take a look at the toughest on the outside. Toughest teams to run against on the outside.
Steelers, Ravens, Dolphins, all AFC teams.
Yeah, yep.
Vikings with a 3rd and 3.
Minnesota is actually one of the easiest teams to run on defensively to the core.
3 wide receivers. It's Bennett on the draw, and the Bears have got him. And I don't know about that call, Bill.
Yeah, well, the reason the call was there because it worked the first time they ran the draw. But remember when I told you about being tough inside? The Bears, they tried to run the draw play right up the gut. And this is really Michael Bennett's play. That's what he runs. He runs the draw play. And it's almost as if you know he's in there, he's going to get the draw play.
Chris Kluwe's 2nd punt of the game. He leads the NFL in total yardage and net yardage. Plenty of time. Big, high, booming kick. Backpedaling Bobby Wade from the 2. Wade, good opening. Good return for Bobby Wade. Picks up a block. Gets to the outside. And Kluwe takes him out of bounds at midfield. A great return by Bobby Wade of 48 yards.
Yeah, you normally don't take the punts back there, but Bobby Wade looked, he glanced downfield, and the Gunners weren't anywhere near him, nor was any of the punt coverage team anywhere near him. He took a chance. You usually let those ones drop.
Officially a 49-yard punt return after a 55-yard punt. Jones and Edwards in the backfield. The Bears in Vikings territory. Everybody out. Orton in trouble. Gets away. And now he's swarmed under. Kevin Williams buried him. 2nd sack of the game for the Minnesota Vikings, who came in with only 6 this season.
Oh, take a look at my man Kevin Williams. First of all, Big Kev, he's going to be right here. Just watch the effort. He comes blowing through on the pass rush right over Terrence Metcalf. Just right smack over him, one-on-one. You can't leave Kevin Williams one-on-one. But then he hits Orton, and Orton somehow shakes free. All the weight and the momentum of Kevin Williams just took him right by him. But do you see how quick he got off the ground and didn't let up?
3 wide receivers in, everybody out. Short pass to Bobby Wade. And he gets to midfield before he is stood up. It'll bring up a 3rd and long. There is a flag on the play. 2nd and 6 for the Bears at the Vikings 45. Thomas Jones finds an opening and a first down to the 37.
Can I tell you that I wish my knee hurt like that? I mean, try to tell me that that guy has a bad knee. And we saw him out of practice and find out what they are without one Randy Moss.
2 minutes to go. Bears at 1st and 10. Everybody out. Orton gets time and throws, and it's juggled and caught by Mark Bradley. Looking for some more yardage after the catch. He's pushed back. They'll give him forward progress to the 21-yard line.
Did we just say they need a passing game?
Yes, they do.
And they've recognized that as well. They've got the run. You've seen what sets up the run, especially when you have a young quarterback. Look no further than the New York Giants. Last year with Eli Manning, the only thing they could do is run Kiki Barber in the football. Well, do you see the growth in Eli Manning? Because the run sets up the pass. Thomas Jones is setting up the pass.
From the 22, everybody out again. Orton throws too high for Muhsin Muhammad. Ball's at the Vikings 22, deepest penetration of the game for the Bears. Bears still have 2 timeouts remaining.
And there's a lot more to learning the passing game than just what to throw, but where to throw the ball and the defense. Bobby Wade is going to be right there. Now watch him. You have to anticipate. The safety rolls to the top. Bobby Wade on the skinny post, and Kyle Orton never looked that way or saw it. So that's a young quarterback learning what defenses do. He'll be shown that play Monday morning in team meetings.
Bears with 3 wide receivers. Vikings have 6 defensive backs in. Orton pressured, throws, completes it to Muhsin Muhammad inside the 10, down to the 6-yard line. Muhsin Muhammad, who went over 600 receptions, hit the 600 mark last week, has 3 catches today.
And watch Kyle Orton. Everything starts up front with the quarterback. There's a nice pocket. It collapses on him, and the young man stands in there with confidence and poise and delivers the ball to Moose.
3 wide receivers for the Bears on 1st and goal. Here's Thomas Jones. Not much room.
Boy, but look at him chugging.
Dontarius Thomas there to help bring him down at the 4-yard line, and the Bears call a timeout.
In Chicago, if you're going to win in this division, you've got to be able to run the ball in December and January. And to do that, it has to be your commitment all through the season.
8th play of the drive. Orton throws, and it's caught by Desmond Clark just short of the goal line. The ball popped, but they rule a touchdown. He caught it and fell on the pylon.
If his knee wasn't down and the ball extended to hit the pylon, that is a touchdown.
The officials are talking it over. See it again.
I believe, Sam, I was about ready to yell touchdown. I believe it was a touchdown from my angle. Watch where he's at. Now watch where he extends the ball and see if any part of his body is down. That, my friends, is a touchdown.
He broke the plane. It certainly looks that way. The ball now popped loose. Let's see what Bernie Kukar thinks.
And then that delivery right there as well.
Robbie Gould for the extra point. And it's good. And with 37 seconds remaining in the first half, the Chicago Bears have taken the lead. The touchdown pass from Kyle Orton to Desmond Clark. Clark's first catch of the game. And the young quarterback. The Vikings will kick off to start the second half. Paul Edinger to kick off. Coming down to Jerry Azuma at the 2. Azuma bounces off one man, and a good return up to the 36. The man who led the NFL in returns in 2003. trying to get him back up to speed in the way he was then. Good return of 35.
Holy mackerel, the wedge guys are still, Sam, laying on the ground. Watch this wedge take form, and then watch the explosion right here. You talk about knocking each other out. That was just simply amazing. And he may be smiling, but there's good smiles and there's bad smiles. That may have been a bad smile.
There's start from the 36. Everybody out. Orton throws, and it's incomplete, wide of Mark Bradley. Let's go down to the field of Jay Glazer. I don't know if he has the support of the players. They say the right things, Bill, but they don't play like they do.
Well, you know, Sam, you're right. They don't play like they do. And you look at this team, and there's mental mistakes, there's blown assignments, there's blown everything. This isn't something that just came upon. It just didn't fall out of the sky and land on the scene. This has been going on for a long time. This has been going on. You heard Ziggy Wilf, what he talked about when he had that interview with Jay Glazer. He talked about things like the previous owner didn't have anything in place. There was no security lined up in the place. There was no player development. They didn't have anything. And the budget he allowed them to have to go get coaches was next to nothing.
On third down, pass complete to Desmond Clark. A first down for the Bears up at the 49-yard line.
And if you don't have good coaches teaching the right fundamentals for each and every position, on each and every play, on each and every offensive or defensive play called, that's going to be your outcome of what you had. Most of these guys were fired, were out of jobs, or couldn't get jobs in the NFL. And for the price that they could get them, Mike had to go out and try to find the best he could. And that's the crux of it. And what you're seeing, I believe, is the process of that. That's the equation. That's what you get out of that scenario.
Thomas Jones lost the ball. And the Vikings dive on top. They've got it. Second fumble of the game. Pat Williams recovers the fumble.
Dominate the middle of the field. There's no question about that.
He forced the fumble. Keith Newman recovered the fumble. Culpepper flag on the play. Dropped it off to Mewelde Moore. He gets down to the Bears 37. We check out the flag. Back at the line of scrimmage.
Sure enough, something always crops up with this team that just bites them.
His first and 15. Culpepper in trouble. Pulls it down. Flag on the play. He goes down across the 40. That looks like a hold on the Vikings.
Yeah, it looks like Rosenthal.
They have to get to the 27-yard line for a first down. It's first and 25 for the Vikings. Out of the shotgun, everybody out. Culpepper throws short, and Mewelde Moore incomplete. It hit the ground.
You know, the Minnesota Vikings used to have plays for first and 25. They did. You always kid around and say, oh, there's no plays for second and 25 or third. The Minnesota Vikings used to have a plays for that because they had guys to do that. And this team, I really truly believe that without Matt Burke, without Big Dixon at guard, and certainly without Randy Moss, this Vikings team to me, it's like diet Vikings. You know, it's not the full loaded, caffeine, heavy leaded. It's the diet Vikings.
You had a look at Nate Burleson, who's still out. He's missing his third game in a row. He should be back next week. Culpepper throws again. He's got a man. He completes to Travis Taylor down to the Bears 21. That's an old-time Vikings play, and Taylor with a good grab. There is a flag on the play.
I trust him. I know where he's going to be. I know how he's going to finish his routes.
Blitz coming. He gets rid of it quickly to Wiggins. Wiggins takes a hit as he crosses the 20. It's down to the 18. Let's find out what the Redskins and Chiefs are doing. JB?
All right, Sam. Washington battling back, trying to snap that 7-game losing streak against the AFC. Little quick pass there from Brunell to Santana Moss. He takes it 78 yards to pay dirt. Second touchdown of the day for Moss. All knotted at 14 at Arrowhead. Back to Sam Rosen.
How about those Redskins? They go to Denver and play the Broncos tough there. Now they're in Kansas City, another tough place to play, and they're even with the Chiefs. Short drop. Culpepper completes to Williamson inside the 15. Spotted to the 14-yard line. And once again, the Vikings moving as they look for points. The receiver was Corin Robinson. Mike, apologies on the call. Robinson.
Mike Tice said coming out of halftime, he was talking to Jay Glazer, he said, this is where we have to get better, inside the 20, inside the red zone. And I was saying that this is where the Bears, this is their territory. This is where their mentality changes, I believe. Let's see if Minnesota can do anything against it.
Here's 3rd and short. And the throw to the end zone too high, too far for Troy Williamson.
Alfonso Boone is going to be stacked right here. Now, Cullen Loeffler, the deep snapper, is about 240 pounds. They get the stack in there. They get the push with Hunter Hillemeyer behind him. And Boone gets a big hand on it on his way down.
Play fake by Orton on 1st down. His pass incomplete, intended for Muhsin Muhammad. How about this day for Paul Edinger? He's lined up for 4 field goals. 1, they mishandled a snap and he stopped. 2, he came up short and wide on a 52-yarder. 3, he made, and 4th gets blocked. That's a bad day if you're a field goal kicker.
And how about for the Minnesota Vikings? You know, just when you thought you hit rock bottom and there's no place up to go, but to go is up. My gosh, how much more can happen?
Bears have Cedric Benson, their 1st-round draft pick, in at running back, number 32. He dives forward up to the 25-yard line, picked up a couple on the play. Cedric Benson, who was drafted number 4 overall in this year's draft. He held out, contract holdout, and he finally signed a couple of days before the final preseason game. He's still catching up. Coaches are saying he's still in training camp.
You know, if I was Curtis Benson, I'd be scared to come here. I'm sorry, Cedric Benson. What I said. I'd be scared to come here, Sam, as a running back and then hold out and have an attitude about it. Because the history of success of 1st-round running backs for this organization.
The blitz coming, and they've got Orton. Napoleon Harris blitzing from the outside linebacker position. 3rd sack of the day for the Minnesota Vikings. They have dominated time of possession. They have only 3 points to show for it.
Wide.
Under pressure, drops it off to Mewelde Moore. Moore gets down to the 44-yard line, pickup of 6 on the play. Flag is down in the Vikings backfield. Kleinsasser lines up in the fullback slot. Bears show blitz. Quick outside. Falling down, the catch made by Marcus Robinson, picked up 2 on the play. Charles Tillman was covering him. Let's go down to the sideline to Jay Glazer.
Guys, last time the Vikings run offense, another poor play. Paul Edinger gets his kick block. He comes over to the sideline. Obviously, nobody wants to talk to him initially. Mike Tice, after screaming at some of his O-linemen, walks over to Edinger, puts his arm around him and said, "It'll be fine. Relax. Just don't worry about it." Edinger walked away and said, "I'm cool with it." Back to you guys.
I hope he is. It's been a tough day for him. 2nd and 18 for the Vikings. Out of the shotgun, pressure on Culpepper's pass is picked off by Nathan Vasher, by Charles Tillman. Tillman on the return. Rolls down to the 2-yard line. Charles Tillman with his 1st pick of his 2nd pick of the season. He thought he had one earlier in the game. This one counts.
On the last few series, since the second half has started, Chicago has just come with pressure. Pressure to the face of Dante Culpepper. And Dante has been starting to pick up the speed of his drops and his throws. And they've been getting quicker and quicker and quicker. They came with pressure then. He tried to throw it out. The coverage was tight. He forced it into coverage, and it was picked off, gone the other way.
11th interception this season thrown by Dante Culpepper. Thomas Jones bouncing around, doesn't get much.
Look at the pressure up front first. That's the first thing. Pressure comes up front. The throw is quick, and it's behind. When you're forced to make a quick throw, something bad's going to happen. And that throw is behind. But look up front. Here comes the pressure. Dante Culpepper hardly has any time. He has to get that ball out.
2 years ago, Charles Tillman, as a rookie, had 4 interceptions, was hurt half of last year, didn't have any. Roll out by Orton. He throws. Touchdown! Desmond Clark, his 2nd of the game.
Everybody runs a version of that bootleg. and you run a couple plays, and you set up a little boot action outside there. Desmond Clark looks like he's going to pass run block at first, then he slips out into coverage, but him Desmond Clark selling the run block first is what made the guy that was going to cover him, Corey Chavis, come up and play the run, and then he branches out into a pass pattern.
The extra point by Gould is good. Desmond Clark, who had 3 touchdown receptions in his first 2 years with the Bears, has 2 today.
There's Clark right over in here. See him sell that block first? He sold the block. He sold the run block. Makes a strong safety come up to play the run. Out into the flat he goes.
In earlier games this season, we've seen them fall apart. Can they hold it together and keep their game plan and get back in it? From the 24. Culpepper changes the call. Weldy Moore follows Kleinsasser, gets outside. Lost the ball, but out of bounds. And they spot it up at the 28-yard line.
Well, what Dante Culpepper's seen, we've seen this twice now, is when he sees Mike Brown, the strong safety, come creeping up into the box, then he's anticipating an 8-man front. Watch, here it comes. This time it's a safety. That's the other safety, Chris Harris. But when they get that, see, that's when Culpepper decides to audible. They're going to run away from the safety or check to pass. And that's when the Bears get back out of it.
On second down, Kleinsasser dropped it right through his hands. Time for an update. For that, we go back to our man, JB.
Sam, speaking of losing the ball, take a look at the Skins. Nice drive here, but Rock Cartwright fumbles the ball, trying to get into the red zone. Picked up by Sammy Knight. He returns it 80 yards for the score. Third turnover for the Skins, who now trail Kansas City 21-14. Back to Sam Rosen and Bill Moss.
Billy, that's your guy,
yeah,
Rock.
Yeah, I like Rock Cartwright, but I'll tell you what, I like my Chiefs even better. And Sammy Knight is a guy that they got in free agency this year. You talk about a leader on a defense, he just continually makes plays.
On third down, Culpepper in trouble, trying to get it to Weldy Moore. Again, he wasn't looking. Culpepper took a hit, the pass incomplete, and the Vikings are 3 and out.
If the players feel they have a scapegoat and it's the coaches, they'll eat it up.
Flags go down. Orton is hit, lost the ball, and it's picked up by Pat Williams. He handed it off. E.J. Henderson takes it in, and let's see what the call is here. That fumble is negated. On 1st and 5, Cedric Benson was in the game. Thomas Jones now back in, carries up to the 39-yard line. Let's go down to the sideline. Jay Glazer.
Well, guys, last time the Bears had the ball, you talked about Desmond Clark, how huge he was for that touchdown. Earlier in the week, the Bears didn't even know if he would play. He was sitting on his bench at his locker, started getting something like vertigo, had a bad headache, ended up taking him to the hospital. He finally returned to the team yesterday morning. That's the first time they really knew that Clark would be able to play today.
Thanks, Jay. 2nd and 3. It's Thomas Jones getting up to the first down line and across.
I was going to tell Jay, I felt like that Saturday morning.
Lovie Smith, who says he's in a building process. They've gotten the defense built. Now he wants to build the offense.
Well, he's got 3/4 of the offense built. Yeah, he has an offensive line that can get after you, and then he has a running game in the form of whichever running back is in the backfield. But they can run the football. And when you can do that and you can line up right and you're healthy, the big plays are next.
Thomas Jones for a hard couple of yards up to the 47-yard line. Keith Newman made the stop. Newman getting a start in one of the defensive changes for the Vikings. Get his intensity and athleticism in there. They've been running straight ahead most of this game. And I guess part of that has to do with the revamped offensive line.
They haven't been able to sustain a lot of long drives. You see the numbers. Only about 16 or 17 run attempts.
Orton's throw is grabbed by Gabe Reed.
Flag down.
Tight end, it's a first down, it's a flag in the backfield.
Passing game as a running back, the coaches aren't going to put you in. You'll get your quarterback killed.
Adrian Peterson now in at running back. Orton throws the screen. Peterson is dragged down by Pat Williams. He got back up close to the 40-yard line.
Well, how do you run the screen? How do you defend it? You play it outside in, inside out, and a chase lineman. And Pat Williams was that chase lineman. And that's exactly that's how you diagram. You see big Pat Williams. Chase lineman, inside out, outside in. That's exactly how you play a screen. Your corner comes in, your linebacker comes out, and you have a chase lineman to clean it up.
3rd and 14. Bears have to get to the Vikings 46 for a first down. Horton gets time, nobody open, now he's flushed out. Looking downfield, he starts to run, and he's in trouble and is pushed out of bounds by Antoine Winfield. And the Bears will be forced to punt. The White Sox, leading 3 games to 1, will try to wrap it up in Anaheim and win their first pennant since 1959. On first down, Weldy Moore gets up to the 23-yard line. Moore has taken over as the starter. Michael Bennett was inconsistent. We had him in a game in Cincinnati where he fumbled a couple of times. Moore seems to be the more reliable of the two, but they really haven't established a solid run game.
They haven't established a solid anything. And that's what I'm talking about when I talk about trying to gain an identity with your offense.
Blitz coming. Urlacher chasing Culpepper. He's got him. 5th sack of the season for Brian Urlacher. He leads all NFL linebackers with 5.
Well, Brian Urlacher has free reign of blitz when he has flow. He is responsible for Weldy Moore. So where Weldy Moore goes, he goes. If you have flow or flood backs, which means 2 backs going to the same side, he automatically gets turned on to a blitz. And that's where all his sacks is coming from this year.
Loss of 12. Here's 3rd and 19. They have to get to the 30-yard line for a first down. 3 wide receivers in. Everybody out. Culpepper. Pass is batted down.
I think it was Alex Brown.
3 and out again for the Vikings. And Lovie Smith with a pat on the back for his defense.
You see Alex Brown come in here and get his hand up. Check him out. He's coming right inside. There he is.
Oh, what a play.
And you know, when I talk about the identity, Sam, of the team.
The quarterback's coach, Cedric Benson, in the lineup. Barely gets back to the line of scrimmage.
Look at him rub the belly. Look at the belly rub. I told you he was Buddha. Didn't I tell you he was Buddha?
Are they rubbing him for good luck?
Yes. You got to rub Buddha's belly for good luck. Pat Williams has been all over the place. He's been all over the place. Look, he knows. Everybody wants a piece of it. Get it. Yeah, get it. Get a piece.
But why isn't it rubbing off on the others? I don't know. I don't know. They're trying. Horton, short drop. Outside, completes to Muhsin Muhammad. First down. Good effort by Muhsin Muhammad. They haven't gone deep down the field to him. His 4th catch of the game, a pickup of 13. He's the key receiver. They're trying to bring Mark Bradley along, their 2nd-round draft pick out of Oklahoma. He's got good speed. Bradley going wide out, number 16. But Muhsin Muhammad is the key wide receiver. 2 tight ends in as well. First down at midfield. Horton blitz, throws. Muhsin Muhammad stretches out for a 5-yard gain. Fred Smoot took him down.
Everybody loves Moose. You know, every place he's been, when he gets to the balls, you hear Moose.
Had a great year in Carolina last year. 9 years with the Panthers, and they've got a 2nd and 5. Minnesota Vikings, since the start of the 2001 season, are only 2 and 21 outdoors. Cedric Benson slip, gets back to the line of scrimmage. Boy, he just doesn't seem to be comfortable out there.
Well, you'd be uncomfortable too if Kevin Williams was in your backfield when you're getting the handoff.
That would bother you a little bit.
It might. It might.
Benson comes out. Thomas Jones comes back in. They're trying to get him some playing time just to get him into the flow of the offense. But it has been tough for Cedric Benson. And he's played virtually the entire game. Here's 3rd and 5. Orton quickly outside. Desmond Clark. Couple of touchdowns and a first down catch at the 38-yard line. Desmond Clark with 4 receptions in the game.
With 2 touchdowns in this game already, you think you might have had the red flag go off a little bit on Des Clark, huh?
Think so.
Hey, Desmond, that's when you say, okay, you can see they're going to try to use him in this game a little bit here, guys.
He's the secret weapon today. Now 2 tight ends in as Gabe Reed is also out. Reed is split out. 14 for 21, 104 yards. Short drop, pump fake, and the pass too far. Flag. Did Smoot grab Bradley?
Yeah, absolutely. Bradley used a double move.
Clark in motion. Thomas Jones carries. A little bit of an opening, and he gets across the 25 to the 23. Let's go back to KC and Washington. JB?
Hey, Sam, you mentioned widen the lead. That's exactly what Kansas City does on this play. Trent Green, little pass there to Priest Holmes. Nobody works harder than Priest in the offseason. Pays dividends here. 60-yard highlight run to pay dirt. KC back in front in the 4th by a touchdown over Washington. Back to Sam and Bill.
Priest Holmes makes so much out of so little. Nice play. Thomas Jones, there's a big hole for him. Jones rumbles, he's in, touchdown! Two missed tackles for the Vikings. Thomas Jones, a 24-yard touchdown run, his 5th touchdown of the season.
It was a beautiful run, Sam. No question about it. And the beauty of it to me wasn't in the run itself. There was no action about Thomas Jones moving and shaking like we just saw Priest Holmes on the highlight. What we saw was some beautiful execution in blocking. And the lead blocker was Mark Edwards. So many times the fullback goes without credit. Wait till you see this guy in this block.
Robbie Gould, the extra point try. The Bears have opened up an 18-point lead. Thomas Jones. Let's see the play.
Edwards is going to be coming in the I-back. This is an isolation play. Here he is right there. Look at that lead. Boink. That opens the garage door, and the garage door goes right into the end zone.
Touchdowns in 4 of the Bears' 5 games this season. Robbie Gould's kick taken by Corn Robinson from the 1. And the Bears are there. Good coverage by the Bears as Robinson is ridden out of bounds by Brendan Ayanbadejo.
Well, sometimes when you change defenses and you're in that 3-4 look, here's your linebacker here and here's a linebacker here. Now what happens is Kevin Williams comes down inside. So your linebacker has to come over the top. That's Sam Cowart, and he does not get over the top. Neither does E.J. Henderson, and there is your gate.
Pretty good block by Fred Miller.
And 2 missed tackles on top of that. And there, right there is the defensive coordinator. He's going over it with him. Ted Cottrell is sitting there telling him, you've got to get over the top.
Blitz coming, the pass broken up, intended for Jermaine Wiggins. The rookie safety, Chris Harris, breaks it up.
Nice play by Harris.
And now everything going wrong for the Vikings. They have fallen behind by 18. And they virtually have to become a one-dimensional team and throw on every down.
Well, it's so difficult when they're trying to find out who they are and become something, because they don't, like I said, they don't have anything to hang their hat on. And then defensively, you put in a new defense for a wrinkle to try to cause problems by going to a 34. You can't have everything coached up in there.
Culpepper, short drop, tip, pass, falls incomplete, and you put on top of that, Bill, the shadow of the incident on the lake, and you've got a really terrible situation for the Minnesota Vikings. The players, the coaches, the organization.
Well, if you look back through history with sports, there's been problems. and with teams. And go no further than when the Dallas Cowboys were winning Super Bowls. They had their off-field problems as well. However, when you're winning, it's different than when you're losing. When you're losing, the whole world wants to kick you. And right now, the Bears are kicking him pretty good.
What's coming? The pass complete to Troy Williamson. And he's taken down short of the first down line at the 25-yard line by Nathan Vasher.
Tony built that team, and he never really did get the passing game going down there.
Second down, Jones, nothing there. The Vikings have it well covered as the ball is spotted just across the 30-yard line.
And I believe that's why Lovey has addressed that. He knows that, Tony ran that same thing. They were always successful. They were always in the playoffs, but they never won the Super Bowl until Gruden came down there with the same team, except he implemented the pass. So I think Lovey is building the same kind of team, but he's putting an emphasis on the passing game early. He's a rookie quarterback here in his 5th game, and he's saying, hey, kid, we've got to complete passes down the field for us to be real good.
His third down, Orton gets time, looking, nobody open. Keith Newman's got him. Good job by Newman, persistent. He was being blocked.
And we got all kinds of flags downfield, and you're going to have holding, I believe. Defensive holding.
Desmond Clark in motion. Good play fake by Orton. Mark Edwards, the fullback, out of the backfield. First down, up at the 48-yard line. Mark Edwards has spent a couple of years everywhere he's gone. With San Francisco, Cleveland, New England, won a Super Bowl there, and a couple of years in Jacksonville.
And Mark Edwards, I don't know what's, look at that. Whoa, he's storing some walnuts in there, in those cheeks. I don't know what's tougher. Harder, actually, his head or his helmet. This kid, I'll tell you, he's a heck of a lead blocker now. He'll bring it to you. And every now and then, just keep him happy, they'll throw him a bone. They'll hand him a ball once or twice on short yardage and throw him a ball out in the flat like they did just there.
2 tight ends in. Thomas Jones reverses, and the Vikings are there. Jones does get back to the line of scrimmage. Actually picked up a yard on the play, maybe 2. Fred Smoot finally makes the tackle.
You look and you see Thomas Jones still in there. He's had a heck of a day. He really has. It might be time you consider maybe him taking him out of the game. With 9 minutes left. Yes. Maybe see what Cedric Benson can do, although you may be scared a turnover would keep them in it. They may probably take him down to about 5 minutes.
Probably. He hasn't shown any ill effects from the leg injury at all. 3 wide receivers for the Bears. Jones, and maybe a yard on the play, just across midfield. Darian Scott made the stop for the Vikings. The Vikings tried to focus on football during this past week after the incident during the bye, and they felt they had a good week. Practices were up-tempo and crisp, but it sure hasn't presented itself on the field today. Orton gonna put it up deep. Way down for Muhsin Muhammad. It's intercepted by Corey Chavis. And he is down at the 15-yard line. The veteran Corey Chavis with the pick. And the Vikings take over. They start from the 15. They need points in a hurry. They've had only 3 in the game. Culpepper puts it up and completes it. To Troy Williamson. Gets up to the 28-yard line. Hurry up offense for the Vikings. They come right to the line of scrimmage. No huddle. 3 wide receivers in the game. And Roldy Moore in the backfield. Blitz coming by the Bears. Culpepper gets rid of it. Too low, almost intercepted by Lance Briggs, the linebacker. Pass intended for Jermaine Wiggins. Again, Bears show blitz. This time they drop back in coverage. There's pressure. Culpepper throwing deep. And it's tipped and intercepted by Chris Harris. He's got a couple of blockers. Harris still going. And finally tripped up, falls forward close to the 20-yard line. Second interception of the game. Culpepper has thrown 12 interceptions, a league high this season.
You don't want to become one-dimensional against any defense, but this Bears defense in particular. They'll come with the rush, they'll get after you, and they'll come up with big plays on the back end. When you know an offense is limited to just throwing the ball, boy, can you really tee off after them.
And one time they showed him blitz. That time they showed him blitz and dropped back. An alert play by Chris Harris, the rookie safety. His first NFL interception. The Bears with a chance to add points. Thomas Jones, good hole across the 15 down to the 13. Let's check in with Jay Glazer on the sideline. Jay?
Well, Sam, Billage was just talking about how defense now play the Vikings differently. Yesterday, some of the Bears defenders said this is the first time since Dante Culpepper's been in Minnesota that we could play him honest. He's going to see some things from us he's never seen, because in the past, because of Randy Moss, we've had to change our defense and keep two guys back. By the way, another note, Brian Urlacher also told me that he thinks they have the best defense in the league. Last year they were good, but they were guessing a little bit. This year, he says, we know everything we're doing. Back to you guys.
And they're showing it virtually every game. They have been solid, and they've made plays, Bill. They've been opportunistic as well.
Well, it's a matter of putting players in situations to make plays. And I think Lovey's doing that with his offense and his defense. You keep things simple. You don't make them too complicated. It's out of the old book of you do a few things and you do them extremely well.
Here's 3rd and 2. The clock winding down under 6 minutes. The Bears in control. The play fake. Orton throws short to Mark Edwards. And he is short of the first down at the 11-yard line. Keith Newman made the stop. They're going for it on 4th down. 2 tight ends in. 4th and 1 at the 11. Clark in motion. Orton puts it up. And it's tipped incomplete, a little too far, intended for Muhsin Muhammad. And the ball is turned over on downs at the 11-yard line. What do you think of that call?
Well, it was a shot. It was a chance to get something done. And the bottom line of it is, I believe, is that they try to take advantage of the safety again, but the young quarterback has been locked on. Each time now, even going back to the interception with Corey Chavis, the plays that are designed are plays for the safeties to jump on the route that's taking them out of the picture to open it up for the other receiver. And both times the safeties didn't budge because Orton, as a young quarterback, he's been looking down, as they say, eyeing down his receiver.
Culpepper has 5 minutes to get something done here. Lance Briggs wraps up Troy Williamson after a short pickup. The Vikings have not played a home game in 3 weeks. They will be home next week against the Green Bay Packers. They lost in Atlanta, had the bye week, now on the road here. Again, the outdoor problems continue for Minnesota.
The road problems continue.
Road problems against the Bears. That pass is blocked. Good job by the Bears. They've come in, they've batted down at least 3, maybe 4 passes today.
And you know, Sam, I think that has a lot to do with it, too, understanding what the Vikings are trying to get done.
He'll do his job. Here's 3rd and 9. They're showing blitz. They'll drop back. Culpepper. Downfield deep for Williamson, almost intercepted. Chris Harris was there again.
That should have been offensive pass interference. Yeah. Both receiver and defender have an equal right to the ball. And once, I think it was Troy Williamson, wasn't it? Once Troy Williamson realized he was out of position to catch the ball, he tackled Chris Harris as Chris Harris was going up for the ball. Watch. Troy Williamson is going to get to the outside here of the safety. Now, Chris Harris is over top. Now, Harris is going to make a play on the ball. See that? That is offensive pass interference.
Vikings go for it on 4th down. 4th and 9. They have to get to the 22-yard line, 21-yard line for a first down. Culpepper, pressure. They slips away from Alfonso Boone. He doesn't get away from Urlacher. Second sack of the game for Brian Urlacher. And the Vikings are down at the 1-yard line, and that's where the Bears take over.
Urlacher leads his defense in sacks, and he's a linebacker in a cover 2 defense, which mainly is dropping back into coverage down the middle of the field. That's his second time Dante Culpepper was out of the pocket and has to learn to get rid of the football. Move it, get rid of it. Get out of the pocket. You're outside the pocket. Make a throw of that ball towards the line of scrimmage. He's doing things he's never had to do before. Dante Culpepper's never had to scramble around out of the pocket. When he has scrambled before, he's taken off running. Now he's scrambling for his life to try to get something done with all the pressure and blitzes he's facing. He doesn't realize these things. He's never had to do them before.
His face tells it all. Bears undecided about what they want to do. Call another timeout. It's a 1st and goal at the 1-yard line.
Done if 1 out of every 5 times one of those 2 bad things is occurring.
Thomas Jones to the goal line. He's in. Touchdown. His second of the game. Right side of the line did the blocking. The Bears celebrate with the points they didn't get on their previous possession. But the defense set it up again. Credit points to the defense there. So the Chicago Bears and their strong defense have taken advantage of a team that is in disarray, the Minnesota Vikings. Gould with the extra point. 28-3. The Bears lead it. They were down 3-0. They scored late in the first half. Orton to Desmond Clark. He reached for the pylon, touchdown. Second half. Orton, nice play fake, finds Desmond Clark again. 14-3. After a great punt return, Thomas Jones, 24-yard run for the touchdown. And then it was Jones again after the ball was turned over on downs by the defense. He crosses the goal line before he's pushed back. The Bears lead it 28-3. That NFC East has got the makings of a great division.
Oh, heck yeah, they do. With Washington's been battling. They've been in the mix of things. Washington will cause some teams some problems down the stretch and put themselves in a situation to be there at the end.
Culpepper out of the shotgun. There's some pressure. He dumps it off to Mewelde Moore. There's a flag down. Moore gets up to the first down line at the 42, just across the 42-yard line. We check out the flag. And as they fall behind, every time they fall behind by more than one score, they go to the passing game. Long downfield for Travis Taylor, broken up by Todd Johnson. Just build a totally new offense, and they're not there. They're a long ways from getting there. That pass through the hands of the rookie Troy Williamson. They'll bring up a 2nd and 5. On the Chicago Bears side, Olin Kreutz, one of the leaders. He doesn't believe in leadership. He says you go out and do your job, but you know what?
That's what a leader does.
Everybody points to him and says, there's one of the leaders.
Well, that's what a
team.
leader does. He does his job, and you don't hear anything about him. You don't make mistakes. You don't cause problems. You don't throw cruises. You do your job, and everybody will follow you. They knew they could run the football. They knew they could play good special teams, and they knew they had a great defense. So in order to win games, you need to strike through the air. Points come through the air, and the run game sets all that up. So it was an emphasis on Kyle Orton and the run game. I think he proved himself well. I think he's played a heck of a game, and I think certainly has given his team something to grow on.
Culpepper dropping it off to Mewelde Moore. He's upended by Mike Green inside the 40 at the 39-yard line. Under 3 minutes to go. The Vikings will drop to 1-4. They'll meet the 1-4 Packers next week. The Lions are leading with just under 3 minutes to go at home against Carolina, 20-14. Lions would be in first place at 3-2. And the sack on Culpepper by Israel Adonijah.
Everybody's getting in the fold.
4 sacks on Culpepper in the game.
And as a defensive player, I can tell you that it's so much fun to play defense right now, because you know they're only doing one thing, and it takes all the thought process out of your game. It's just a pass rush drill, and you got to get your way to the quarterback.
First NFL sack for Israel Adonijah. Culpepper to Jermaine Wiggins inside the 40-yard line. Azuma took him down. On 4th down, the pass to Jermaine Wiggins is complete. That's a first down. I'm looking for something positive to say about the Vikings. Jermaine Wiggins, a career-high 10 catches in the game. So take a positive out of that. They've gone back to him, and he's caught 10 balls in the game. Other than that, there hasn't been much to say about the Vikings game today. Wasted opportunities, taken 14 penalties. Weldy Moore for a couple. The ball popped loose. It's incomplete. Ruled incomplete.
Well, you better think of some positive things, because we have them next week versus Green Bay.
They got to start all over. They'll be at home.
That's a positive.
It'll be interesting to see about the fan reaction, Bill. How the fans will react to what's happened the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, the last couple of weeks, I'll tell you what's happened. They've lost. They've lost. That's what happened. And fans they fall off the bandwagon when you start losing. 1-4, it's not real pretty.
And they've been embarrassed off the field as well.
And on.
On 2nd and 10. Culpepper being chased, gets rid of it, and it's incomplete.
Oh, that was me.
Today's game produced by Mike Burks, directed by Rich Russo, Associate Director Tom Yohe, Broadcast Associate Darren Foster. Thanks to technical producer Frank Phillips. Studio was produced by Scott Ackerson, directed by Bob Levy. Senior producer of Fox Sports, Bill Brown. Executive producers of Fox Sports, Red Gorin and David Hill. And of course, Ty Yohe worked on the Fox box today. Our statistician in the booth, Emmett McGuire. Our spotter, as usual, Gary Lynn. Thanks to Mark Sazda on computer stats. And a great job by all. Mo Williams in the backfield with Dante Culpepper. Looking for the end zone. Pointing, throwing, and throwing it away. Game 4, St. Louis at Houston. And Game 5, the White Sox in Anaheim. Culpepper's pass for Wiggins incomplete. And the ball comes over to the Bears on down. Minute 10 remaining. A tough one for the Minnesota Vikings. For Lovie Smith and the Bears, the defense solid once again, and the offense put points on the board.
I got to tell you, Sam, it's great being here in Chicago. This beautiful weather. Now, they're on borrowed time with this beautiful weather, but this beautiful fall day, and watching the Bears win and seeing this fan base and the crowd here, it's been a sensational day.
An important win for the Bears. Brian Urlacher with a couple of sacks in the game, helping lead the defense. The Bears go to 2-3, the Vikings to 1-4. Early in the game, the Vikings dominated time of possession, moving the ball, but couldn't put points on the board. The Bears finished it up. We're going to New Orleans, to San Antonio for Atlanta and New Orleans right now.